Okay, do you remember the goal of youth ministry from the last lesson? That's right. It's to see students become disciples of Jesus who then go and make disciples of Jesus. And so that's your focus. Your focus is on seeing students become a disciple of Jesus. Now, we use slightly different language at Pursue God. We talk about that as mentoring. Because the word mentoring is a little simpler for people to understand. So one thing that you need to do as a youth leader is to focus on mentoring. That's how you make your students into disciples. You mentor them, you train them, you raise them up in the way to follow God and to honor God with their lives. And that's your goal. That's one of your goals. That's like a sub-goal, is to focus on mentoring. You are a mentor. You are a small group leader. You're not just a facilitator, though. You're a mentor. You are showing students how to live and how to honor God and teaching them, imparting wisdom to them from the Bible. Now, I want you to understand, we didn't come up with this concept of mentoring. The idea of mentoring goes back to the Bible. Take a look at what we see in the Bible about mentoring. 2 Timothy 2:2. You have heard me teach things that have been confirmed by many reliable witnesses. Now teach these truths to other trustworthy people who will be able to pass them on to others. This verse is so inspiring to me. It says that as Christians, it's not just about us, it's about other people. And that we're supposed to not only grow in our own walk with God, but we're supposed to help others pursue God. That gets back to the goal of youth ministry, helping students become disciples of Jesus who make disciples of Jesus. I know I'm getting repetitive, but I never want you to forget that. But anyway, back to this verse, it's saying that not only as a Christian are you supposed to grow individually, but you're supposed to help other people pursue God. But that's not the end. Those people whom you help are supposed to now help other people pursue God, and they're supposed to help other people pursue God. And the idea in 2 Timothy is that you are creating generations of Christians. And that's what you get to do as a youth mentor. You're not only pouring into the lives of 1 or 2 or 5 students at a time, but you are starting a spiritual heritage, or you're joining a spiritual heritage that is going to create generations of followers of Jesus. What an amazing opportunity. And so because of that, I really want you to consider yourself a mentor, and I want you to get great at mentoring. So I want to encourage you to take mentor training. That's another training module we have here at Pursue God. Go through mentor training. Again, don't do it by yourself. I hope you're not doing this training by yourself. Go through it with a mentor and learn how to be a great mentor, how to really help students and other people in your life pursue God, and then pass that on. But here's a couple thoughts that I want to introduce to you about mentoring right now, even before or after you've taken mentor training. And the first is, when it comes to youth ministry, mentor a few. You're probably not going to have time to mentor everybody in your small group, especially if your small group's got 10 or 12 students in it. So pick students to mentor. Hopefully you have a co-leader in your small group, and so together divide up your youth group and figure out who's going to mentor which students. And hopefully every student in your small group gets mentored, especially those who come regularly, but focus on a few. Focus on a few who you can mentor. Get to know them, get to know where they are spiritually, get to know their parents, try and communicate with their parents and just introduce yourself. Say, hey, I'm your kid's small group leader. I'm mentoring your student. Is there anything you'd like me to teach them, like to clean their room, or maybe not that, but you get the point. Mentor a few students, pick a few students. If you just sort of look at your youth group and let's say your youth group's got 50 students in it, that's gonna be really overwhelming. So look at your small group, think of a few students who you can mentor and start practically doing that. Also, keep moving students forward. As a mentor, your job is not exactly to be a friend to the students. Now, I guess I do want you to be a friend to your students, but don't primarily think of yourself as a friend, right? This is an intentional relationship. You are mentoring them. If in the business world you hired someone to be your mentor and all you guys ever did was play darts together and hang out and talk about sports, that might be fun, but you think, why am I spending so much money on this? Well, I want you to be intentional about your mentoring. Help students move forward. And the best way to do that is to think about foundations. Now, I hope you've taken foundations before, but in foundations, we offer 3 truths to help any person pursue God. And you can use those 3 truths as markers in the life of your students. And so figure out where your student is at. Are they trusting Jesus? Are they honoring God with their lives? And if so, are they helping other people? Are they serving in youth ministry, serving in their church? Or are they discipling other students? Figure out where your students are and make a plan to get them to the next level of pursuing God. And really think about this progress. Keep track of it. Talk to them about it. Talk to their parents about it. Make a plan, at least in your mind, and say, okay, over the course of this school year, we have the school year together. That's usually how small groups they function on the school calendar. And say, okay, in this school year, how do we want to see these students grow? Keep the students moving forward. We don't want to just get to know them and have fun with them. Certainly that relational part is important, but these are intentional relationships. You are a mentor. Move your students forward. And empower your students to lead. We want students to become leaders. That's the goal of youth ministry, right? We want them to become disciples of Jesus who make disciples of Jesus. So from the very beginning, look for opportunities to let your students lead. I fundamentally believe there's virtually nothing that a student cannot do in a youth group, whether it's leading worship or teaching, leading small groups, that if a student is committed and has the Holy Spirit, he or she can do just about any job in the youth group. So invite your students to recap the lesson. If you're using the videos from Pursue God Youth, watch the videos together and then have one of the students recap what you've watched or what you watched on your own time. Have students lead the discussion question part of the conversation. Again, that's a little tricky, but mature students might be able to do that. Have students lead the prayer time. Have students be invitational or follow up with new students to your small group. There's lots of opportunities to allow your students to serve. Don't do all the work. Don't do all the ministry. That is not the goal. The goal is to empower students. And when you do this, you've really begun to focus on mentoring. You have your few that you're mentoring, you're moving them forward, and you're empowering them to lead, to be leaders to the next generation.